And now I would like to invite some people involved with Brain Code to talk about their hackathon.
Okay.
So, hi guys, we work at Allegro. I'm Łukasz, this is Chris.
Hello.
We would like to tell you a few words about hackathon. It's called Brain Code Mobile, and it's incoming in 13th to 14th March. It will take place in 4 cities concurrently. It will be Warsaw, Krakow, Poznań, and Toruń. And there will be 2 base categories. So the first one is open. You can make any mobile app you want. And the second category is Allegro category, obviously. It will be about making an app using our API.
Or even if we don't currently have an API, but you have an idea about an app which uses some Allegro data, then you can invent such application.
Yeah, exactly. And the teams are up to 4 people, so you can team up with someone at place or come with your own team. Yeah, and basically that's it. If you sign up before 26th of February, you are guaranteed to have a t-shirt, so go on and sign up. The web page is braincode.mobile.
Thanks. Welcome. This is like a first flash talk I'm actually having. Nevertheless, I have like a short topic. It's going to be about how we can detect if it's our app, it's been uninstalled. Quite an Android really geeky topic. Okay, so let's go. Normally, when you'd like to detect what's going to be with another application, which is incoming or outgoing from our operating system, we usually use broadcast receiver, which has like filters for package added, removed, replaced. There are like 7 or 8 even, and that's it. I mean, this is quite easy. We just receive it, we just parse the data what we have in an intent, and we can process. Good. What we see, if we install the app, we see that we have the serial ID newly created, we have some handles, whatever. If we reinstall the application, we have a bunch of new data removed because it's reinstallation, so it stays. We have the flag that's being replaced, still information, and of course uninstallation, right? This is okay, but if we have application A, which is monitoring the state of the operating system, and application B is being installed to uninstall, this is fine. But what happens if we try to uninstall our application? There's nothing. Why? Because the operating system unregisters us because we are being removed at this moment. So there's like a race condition. We'd like to detect, but just before detection would appear, we are removed. Okay. I think most of you know what is Opera. This is one of the, used to be very popular browser for mobile devices, nowadays became less. But Opera did some tricky business there. So it does not listen for package removal. So there is no like system call for I'm being replaced. It registers iObserver on data folder. I would like to remind that data folder is the place where all files from the application by default come. And this is our sandbox. And of course, our application can access only our folder. That's fine. But the trick is it doesn't use the file observer from Java file package. It uses the native code. Okay. The trick is actually that Opera actually doesn't detect the application has been uninstalled. It detects that the directory data is being removed. So remove recursive force com Opera max, and that's it. This is the trick. So, how we did it? We decompiled the APK using APK tool. It's quite common right now. So we browsed through the whole source code, we found that there is some native libraries, and we checked what's there, and actually in this libeo.so, there's something like here. So we have Android start and intent, action view, and it monitors this directory. Moral, there are file observers, really, they're useful. Thank you. If you'd like to see some demo, I'm very open for it, but if there are any questions at this moment. Please. Okay, I'll repeat.
Can you detect when the user cleans the data of the app? Sorry? If the user cleans the data of the app.
Well, it's a very good question. Apart that it's native code, so we cannot actually decompile it, so I cannot give you the direct answer. Most probably they just monitor if the folder is being removed, not just changed. All right, thank you. This was a flash talk.
I would like to talk about a little library I wrote. It's about 100 lines of code, but it will spare you a lot of boilerplate code that you would have to write yourself when you would like to achieve something like that. So let's start with a fundamental question. What is better than a beer? Yes, exactly, 2 beers, or actually multiple beers. I dare to think that this rule is also true for a lot of other like stuff in life, also programming. And so we come to the observer pattern. Actually, there are some like arguing about if the observer pattern is only handling one observer or multiple observers, but the general rule is the same. If we have something, for example, subject, which has something to say, something interesting to say to other objects, so the observers, they can emit an event. So that's a nice thing, but a lot of times we will have, like, we want to register multiple observers for this event, so we have the multi-observer pattern. That's my understanding of this problem. So the problem on iOS with this is that we don't have a very nice tool built into the system. What we are used to, and the delegate pattern is actually like a play on the observer pattern, is the protocol property solution. So you see it a lot in UIKit, for example, that you have a property which is a weak one. It declares an ID on a protocol. Then it is most of the time called delegate, and that's it. Nice part about it, it's type and compile safe. And it's really easy to use, really easy to write, and so on. We have also other mechanisms like key value observing, notification center, target action, which has some drawbacks. Always we get some additional functionality, but for example, we must pay with type and compile time safety, and that's something I really like. So what I wanted to do with my library is to get the first solution, so this protocol and property way, without sacrificing a lot of boilerplate code and having multiple observers. And that's what I did. First of all, the protocol property pattern, as I said, we declare a observer protocol. You should know that one. Then we have a subject, so object, which has a property. And if we want to tell our observers, one observer that something happened, we will simply call the method on it. It's type safe, it should work. So first of all, the headers. If we want to have multiple observers, of course we need to change the interface of our subject. It needs to have methods for adding and removing observers. So that's something that we have to do. The protocol serve doesn't change a lot. But if you now think about what do I need to do on my side, on the implementation, in the details, to implement this, you will get a lot of headache. For example, observers should be weak. Obvious solution, let's put everything in an array, but holding weak elements in an array isn't that easy. You can of course use NSValue, but NSValue that was unretained value for something, for object. This doesn't really work nice with IRC. We have weak references in IRC, and why not use them? Also, every time you want to actually use one of these methods or notify the observers, you will have to make a for each loop on this array and call it. Even more, if you have optional methods in this protocol, you will have even more problems. So, of course, it's doable, but the amount of boilerplate code you will have to write each time gets into problem. So, that's actually what I wanted to prevent, and that's the solution. I hope you can see that one. So I have this little object PL observers. The initialization code is a little bit problematic because we need to init it with a observer protocol, so our type safety. And we need to cast it on per observers implementing this protocol. And that's actually all the magic we will have here. In add observers and remove observers, we will simply add this, call the things in per observers. And now the fun part, we call our method on the observers. What will happen inside of it, it will simply go over the registered observers and forward the invocation. So as said, this is about 100 lines of code. Not really like magic, but if you make, like I do, if you use a lot of multi-observer patterns, then it will save you a lot of time and effort and stuff. Also nice, you actually don't need to deregister on the observers because they are held as weak references, these RC weak references, so they will be removed on their own. So that's also a nice thing. Still, it's a nice thing to do. As said, shameless self-promotion. I work at Polydia, and we love GitHub. So if you want to have a look at what we open sourced, so just go to GitHub to our Polydia page and have a look.
Hello, I'm Maciej Górski, for those who don't know me yet, and I'm here to talk about deploying to Google Play. It's for Android, for iOS guys. So let's start. What can we do right now? So we can automatically upload APKs to Google Play. We can set for them if they are going to alpha channel or beta or directly to production or staged rollout. And we can also change things that are displayed on the listing. So descriptions, photos, all of it automatically. So who is surprised? There is API for Google Play. Nobody at this time? Really? Like 2 months ago, if I asked somebody, nobody knew about it. So it's there for over half a year now. And there is a library for that directly from Google and samples to simplify the thing. Officially for Python and Java, there are also plugins for Gradle by third-party developers. I like Python, so I try to use it as often as possible. Cannot do that for Android development, but I can do tools in it. So it's very simple to set it up. You simply download Python if you don't have it. You install the client library for publishing, and you can get this basic upload APK spy from this site, which is Google Samples. It is somewhere there. And basically, oops, sorry, that's almost all you have to do. You have to also set up an account to deploy to Google Play. Usually it will be a separate account called service account with limited permissions, but you can also use, if you are an owner of developer Google developer account, you can use it with OAuth. Just authenticate once, and you can use generated JSON file to do that automatically without authenticating later. So let me show you an example. I have a, it's really small, so how to make it bigger? It doesn't matter. It's the same command at the bottom, so I can run it. And I have set up my application, pet application Filling Games, to release. So I created a new release, merged with master branch, and this command, if it works, if I have internet connection, will upload a new version of the application. So it's that simple. Let's see at the result. So I had a version of the application which is 1.2.22, and if I refresh that, it should now be 1.2.23. Yay, it worked. So what can you do with that? You can of course run it from your computer every time. It's a bit faster than uploading it manually. So you save like 3 minutes of your time every time you do that. But it's more fun if you set up your continuous integration server to do that for you. So on every push, you could have a new alpha version for your testers. And if you do merge with master, you can push beta to production directly, which I wouldn't do for most cases, but to beta, to even more testers to outer world. So that's all from me. If you want to see a script that does it, which I didn't show before. So this is directly from Google Samples. The only thing I changed is the Google Service account email, and it was alpha by default, so I changed that to beta. It works, it's cool, it saves some time. In my previous project, I used that to push to my client every time I did a commit. So he was a bit amazed, like with this. And that's all from me. So thank you. If you have any questions.
What's new in APK?
Yeah, I didn't use that yet, the feature to update what's new. And it would probably take some time to do that correctly, so you would want to have like your commit messages correct or tagged with some messages, so it would pick them up with a script. It's not that hard to do. It would be fun to have, but in my previous project, my client was updating all the stuff. I didn't have to care about it.
As said before, we have like 2 JetBrains licenses. So this includes, I think, almost every IDE from JetBrains. Remember, they have a lot of other stuff also. So, if you could. Ha. So, let's speak to someone. Sebastian? Okay. So that would be one. Piotr Bogdan? Yeah, so that would be all. Please contact me later on. So, yeah. They won, so maybe some applause.
Congrats. Thank you very much for coming. For the people who actually want something, go talk to Antec. He will give you some sort of a license, I believe. And yeah, and that concludes today's meetup. Thank you very much and see you in a month.